American poet Robert Frost once said, "Freedom lies in being bold." And to that I say, it sure does. After all, that's how America got started. Brave and daring patriots who took it upon themselves to fight for freedom. Freedom that must be honored today. Freedom that comes with certain responsibilities no matter how young or old you are. In fact, young citizens like us have many important responsibilities to America, such as showing devotion and helping your community. But first, what is patriotism? According to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, patriotism means for one to show love and devotion for their country. There are quite some uncomplicated ways that sixth graders, like you, can show your patriotism. For example, you and I should recite the Pledge of Allegiance in honor to the ones who have fought for our country. Just like my grandfather. He was in the United States Navy and fought in the Korean War. Like him, we can show our honor for America by visiting and paying respect to historical sites. I, myself, have been to the Pioneer Museum. What impressed me was that the pioneers lived and worked in a harsh environment. This made them show patriotism to help their community grow and expand and for new lives to live there. Take this one step further, and yet you'll find another responsibility: community service. Being of service to your community can be done in ways you probably never even thought of. You could volunteer or maybe even raise money for a special charity. I searched online and found out that Arizona Make-A-Wish Foundation has a club that I would love to get involved in, called the Kids for Wish Kids, a program that grants wishes for children with terminal diseases. One girl named Tegan Kelly had a younger brother named Lucky. He was born with half a heart. Tegan took it upon herself to make his wish come true. Partnering with her school and the program, she raised over $18,000 to make this happen. This is his wish, to go to Super Bowl 53, and that he did. I hope now you can see that young people like us have many important responsibilities to America, such as showing devotion and being of service. I can't help but think back to Lucky, the little 11-year-old boy with half a heart whose sister raised money to make his wish come true and his name hold its meaning. Lucky, and boy he was.
Hello, good evening or morning. My name is Finley Thomas from Apache Elementary. Do you know what the definition of patriotism is? The true definition is a person who vigorously supports their country and is prepared to defend it against enemies or detractors. Today I'm going to be telling you my opinion on why I think that you don't have to think that your country is the best to be a patriot. I think that no, you don't have to think that your country is the best to be a patriot. Every country should be able to learn from other countries to improve. No country is the best or perfect. In the true definition of what a patriot is, it says absolutely nothing about needing to think that your country is the best. Sure, you can think that your country has good traits, but it's okay to acknowledge that other countries have good traits too. For example, in Denmark, lots of people report feeling safe at night. In Finland, they have the best education system. Many people recognize that other countries or your country can be the best at one thing but aren't the best or perfect. And many of those people are also patriots or could even be veterans to their country. In the First Amendment, the 5 freedoms are the freedom of speech, the right to assemble peacefully, freedom of press, freedom of religion, and the right to petition the government. Notice how I said freedom of speech? That means that you have the right to express anything on your mind. A quote about freedom of speech is by Winston Churchill, an intense patriot. Everyone is in favor of freedom of speech. Hardly a day passes without it being extolled, which basically means that everyone is able to speak freely and barely a day passes without that happening. You don't have to think that your country is the best to be a patriot. Many people improved America or other countries because they realized that something was wrong, missing, or needed improvement. Thomas Edison, for example, is one of the best-known inventors in America. He had realized that there needed to be an object that could produce light on its own, so he invented the light bulb. Not only did he do that for America, but he did that for the whole world. And that's why I think that you don't have to think that your country is the best to be a patriot. In the definition, it says nothing about needing to think that your country is the best. Many people improved America or other countries because they realized that something was wrong, missing, or needed improvement, and that you have the right to speak and think that your country is not the best. Thank you for listening to my speech. Once again, my name is Finley Thomas from Apache. Have a good rest of your day.
Hello judges, contestants, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I believe we are incredibly fortunate to live in this amazing country where we can be free and have rights. The United States gives us many opportunities that millions do not have the freedom to do. Because we have these rights and this freedom, we should show we're thankful for it. We should show our patriotism through the national anthem, the Pledge of Allegiance, and raising the American flag properly. These are things that 5th and 6th graders like me can do. The national anthem is one of the more common things a child can do. It is a symbol of America's traditions and our history, starting its great significance during the time of the Civil War. This powerful musical composition evokes strong patriotism in citizens, and by standing together with our right hands over our hearts shows that patriotism. Throughout the years the national anthem was first sung, we as Americans have had the solemn duty to keep the tradition, importance, and message that it sends alive. The first thing I do in school every morning is say the pledge. It is an oath that is recited by millions of Americans across the country, and it reasserts the values and importances of our nation. Us as American citizens say it to demonstrate our commitment to our country's belief in justice. The Pledge of Allegiance is a reminder that we are a part of something incredible, that we are a part of something bigger than ourselves. The proper protocol for raising and lowering the American flag is incredibly important, as it shows respect for our nation's symbols. It should be raised at sunrise. As that symbolizes a new day with many opportunities ahead, and should be lowered at sunset, signifying the end of the day and showing respect for those who fought. By following these guidelines, we show an undying dedication and commitment to our nation itself. We exhibit our professionalism to the principles that make America exceptional. Nothing is stopping us from going further and showing our patriotism for our schools, America's people, and America itself. As Benjamin Franklin once said, "Where liberty dwells, there is my country." Our nation is not just liberty, but equality for all. Thank you for your time.
Barack Obama once said, "Loving your country shouldn't just mean watching fireworks on the 4th of July. Loving your country means accepting your responsibility to do your part to change it. This means that your country may be a good country, but you can always make it better." Good morning. My name is Adam Maurice. I do not think patriotism requires the belief that your country is the greatest, but patriotism is about loving your country for what it is and what it could be. First, it is amazing that your country is even a country at all. For example, it is crazy that our country, the United States of America, is a country because of how we started. The American Revolution, which was a large war that lasted 8 years, was no small feat, especially since America was newly founded and Britain had the strongest empire in the entire world. That makes me feel proud of where we came from, and hopeful that we will continue to get stronger and better. Another reason why I do not think you need to believe that your country is the best in order to be patriotic is because your country is always changing. This means that your country may be a good country, but it can always change for the better. An example of how our country has changed for the better since its beginning is the 27 Amendments. In creating the Constitution, from our 5th grade Unit 3 booklet, it says that the 27 Amendments list many key freedoms that Americans enjoy today. Even though the Constitution was great, it still needed improvements. That means that even today we can love America, but it can always change for the better. In conclusion, loving your country for all its strengths while still recognizing its weaknesses is enough to show patriotism. We can all show patriotism by loving and supporting our country and always striving to make it a better place. Thank you for listening.
Welcome students, teachers, judges, and my fellow competitors to the Patriotic Speech Contest. My name is Liv Fernandez, and my patriotic speech is about what is patriotism and how can young people show it. Well, young people can show their patriotism by being respectful in school, like doing the Pledge of Allegiance every morning or picking up trash on campus. Or it could be something as simple as paying attention in class or supporting veterans, just like my grandparents. You can also show patriotism by standing for the moment of silence in class. All of those are examples of ways that you can show patriotism. You can also support national parks, known as the Grand Canyon or the Petrified Forest. People can show patriotism by voting for an election or paying taxes. Many people around the world also sign up for community services, like picking up trash around the neighborhood. Patriotism is many things, but one thing patriotism is to me is being a friendly neighbor. Being a friendly and considerate neighbor could even make a strong bond with them. You can also show patriotism by celebrating holidays, like the 4th of July or Veterans Day. Patriotism is a feeling of love and bond between you and your country. For example, 9/11. 9/11 is the day the 2 Twin Towers fell and the firefighters came to rescue the people that were stuck in the tower. Today, there is a memorial where the tower was that you can go visit and pay your respect to the people that we lost that day. A lot of people know about the World War I and the heroes that served our country. Florence Green is an exact example of patriotism because she fought for our country in World War I, and she was the last living veteran of World War I, and she died on February 4th, 2012 at the age of 110. Last but not least, you can show patriotism in school. You should respect your teachers. It won't just help them, it will help you in your learning. You could also read American history books to strengthen your brain. It will let you get to know more about patriotism. Patriotism is a very important thing for your life and for your learning. In conclusion, patriotism has many meanings and they are all important. But what is most important is that you support your veterans and you love your country. That's it. Thank you for listening.
Patriotism is the feeling of love, devotion, and attachment to a state or country. I can show patriotism by saying the pledge, hanging the flag, and singing patriotic songs. First, I think saying the pledge embraces the elegance to the flag of the United States. It is not considered of a religious nature. It brings us all in liberty. Our stripes represent the 13 original colonies, and our stars represent the 50 states of the Canyon. So saying the pledge shows the fact that the United States is loyal. This is important to me because we want to live in and remain loyal to, and that the United States supports justice for everyone. Next, what can be done today in America? This is a known question in America. I will answer it for you. People fly the American flag in public spaces all around the world. You can't exactly throw a party every day to show your pride, but it's just a subtitle reminder of how you can show your patriotism. We can respect the people who I believe with all my heart. The standing up for America means standing up for freedom, that all citizens have courage, and those who risk their lives so we can. That's what it means. Lastly, singing helps students learn and face strong connection to the words and find meaning of it. Students learn to love about the country, the flag, and leaders, anything about America. Why no fuss? This love of reading and singing to help them to learn about America. God bless the USA. This is a known for patriotic state. It is important because the lyrics represent America. If kids were able to sing these songs, we would have more important songs today. To conclude, when you think about America, consider our responsibilities and laws about justice and voting to protect those rights. Our country gives us rights and a voice to live our life freely and dream, the biggest dream. As Americans, let's fight to the end. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, students, parents, judges, and my fellow contestants. Today I will be explaining what patriotism is and how young people can show patriotism. And you might be thinking, what is patriotism? Well, patriotism is the feeling of pride, devotion, and attachment to a homeland and of attachment to other patriotic citizens. And you can show patriotism by understanding the rights, responsibility, and freedom contained in the U.S. Constitution. You can also show patriotism by standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and the national anthem. Being a participant, and by educating yourself about U.S. history and government, and while being a productive member of society. And you might ask, why is patriotism important? Well, the feeling must especially come from the youth, because the youth is the future of our nation and for the bright future of our country. It is important for us to protect and preserve the nation and act in its best interest to make it outshine. The U.S. Constitution was ratified in 1789 in the city of Philadelphia. You might be asking, why was the Constitution created? Well, the reason behind that is because it was created to form a government with enough power to stand on a national level. It was also created for our country to become more united. The Bill of Rights was created to have equality and freedom, known as the first 10 amendments. We have freedom of speech, while in other countries such as North Korea, Syria, Iran, and Iraq have little to no rights. They are not allowed to say what they want, believe in what they want, or even do what they want. I think the Bill of Rights is the most important U.S. document. Thank you.
Good morning, judges, fellow contestants, parents, and guests. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, patriotism means love for or devotion to one's country. A patriot signifies a person who loves his or her country and is ready to support and defend it. But patriotism can mean many things to many citizens. It could mean protecting the environment, following the law, or learning facts of one's true country, both good and bad. Hello, my name is Elizabeth Pham, and a question I would like to ask you is, how can a young citizen show patriotism? To begin, a way a young citizen can show patriotism is by honoring a veteran or a soldier. According to disabled American veterans, our country's flag can mean many different things to our veterans. For some, it could represent the solemn oath they took to defend our country. It could stand as the symbols that we Americans enjoy, or it could sometimes be a sorrowful and painful reminder of those lost in battle. Because of these reasons, saying a simple thank you to them can mean so much. According to the website Connected Nation, when you say thank you to a veteran, you are thanking them for putting aside any prejudices they may have and taking up arms next to men and women who do the same. Another way a young citizen can honor a veteran can be as simple as making a card for them or by having an assembly. Next, a way a young citizen can show patriotism is by being a good citizen. One way is by protecting the environment. Starting at school, I can pick up after myself. In my community, I can make sure I'm not littering. At my home, I can recycle. People who recycle have a positive impact and influence on fellow citizens. Civilians will see you impacting America positively and will be inspired to do the same. Another way a young citizen can be a good member of the community is by following rules or laws and fulfilling expectations. An example would be attending school regularly. According to the website University by the People, going to school is important because education and social skills are needed for a productive society. Our population only continues to increase, and in turn, so do our needs. We need a strong and efficient workforce of educated people who have a lot of social experience to provide us with the everyday services we need for everyday life. You can contribute to this workforce by studying hard and preparing ourselves for any challenges the future might bring, and therefore we as a species must be hardy and ready to adapt to make America truly everlasting. To summarize, there are numerous ways to manifest patriotism, whether it is honoring a veteran or being a good citizen. Anybody can be a patriot, but whether you choose or not is up to you. Now, I leave you today with a question. What are some ways you can show patriotism? Thank you.
I bet the question on some of your minds tonight from this competition to everyone just being here and hearing all of these speeches is, how can I show patriotism? Well, how can I be a good citizen? Well, to show patriotism and be a good citizen, you all need to know what patriotism means. Patriotism means you love your country, and a country is just the civilization of people, kind-hearted citizens who deserve respect. For instance, Jackie Chan's quote, "Do things forever, not for others." Tongue twister. Do things for others, not because of who they are or what they do in return. Jackie Chan's quote says we should do things for other people, not because of who they are, whether they're the president or just some weird person from work or school. And you shouldn't do it for what they might do in return. That is, if they even do anything in return. And that stuff should not matter. That should not matter to you guys. And neither should what they do in return or who they are. So we need to be good citizens to each other, because patriotism is showing citizenship to each other. To love your country, you gotta love its people. Patriotism as a student or anyone is to show your love and care and respect to everyone and being helpful to our people of Arizona or wherever you are. Back to Arizona. To show you love your country, you have to show your love to its people. I believe that there is good in all of you here tonight, like you and you and you and you and all of you here today. We all just need to show patriotism. So ask yourselves, how can I show patriotism? No matter how big or small the good deed is, from saving a life to a nice compliment. It'll still brighten someone's day. Sometimes ask yourself from time to time, how can I help this person out? How can I be kind? How can I be helpful? How can I be a good citizen to help? Ask how I can help, or how can I show patriotism, especially from all these speeches. How can I help? What can I do? That's the questions you got to ask yourself, because all of you here tonight can show patriotism. Thank you.
The author of The American Commonwealth, James Bryce, once said, "Patriotism consists not in waving the flag, but in striving that our country shall be righteous as well as strong." Good morning, parents, judges, and fellow contestants. My name is Lucille Wilkinson, and today I'll be talking about patriotism and why it does not require the belief that one's country is the greatest on earth. You might be wondering, what is patriotism? Well, the dictionary defines it as a strong feeling of attachment and commitment to a country, nation, or political community. To me, this means loving and supporting your country. It's believing in what your country represents, respecting the rights of your fellow citizens, and being ready to stand up and fight to make things better. But being patriotic doesn't mean thinking that your country is the greatest on earth. We can look to our founding fathers, or as I like to call them, the original patriots, to show that this is true. As we learned in our 5th grade social studies class, our country's first constitution was the Articles of Confederation, established in 1781. After winning independence from Great Britain in the Revolutionary War, patriots like James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, and George Washington realized that the Articles of Confederation needed to be improved. So, they came together and created a new document, the Constitution. As the U.S. National Archives and Records Administration explained, the Constitution acted as a colossal merger, uniting a group of states with different interests, laws, and cultures. The Constitution united its citizens as members of a whole, vesting the power of the Union in the people. These rights and freedoms established by our founding fathers that so many brave soldiers have fought and sacrificed their lives to protect for us are the very things that unite us as Americans and contribute to the greatness of our country. But these rights might have never existed if our founding fathers had thought that our country was already perfect and didn't need any improvements. And since the Constitution was ratified back in 1781, it has been amended 27 times. This also shows, despite our country being great, it isn't perfect. And many patriotic citizens have continued to work and vote to change things throughout our country's history to make it even better. In conclusion, patriotism does not require the belief that one's country is the greatest on earth. We should love our country for the opportunities it provides. We should be grateful for all the sacrifices made to give us the freedoms that we have. But most importantly, we must always remember to keep the spirit of the original patriots alive and work towards making our country better for us and for all future generations. Thank you.
Does patriotism require the belief that one's country is the greatest on earth? Because of the Constitution, I can confidently say no to this question. Welcome judges, parents, and fellow contestants. My name is Tyson Colbrook, and I am here to explain why I believe patriotism contrasts to believing that your country is the greatest. I will share what patriotism means, how America has flaws, and some ideas from others on this matter, using an interview and some parts of the Constitution spread out here and there. If patriotism isn't thinking that your country is the greatest, what is it? Patriotism means devotion to and vigorous support for one's country, which means being supportive of your country in an all-out way. To me, however, patriotism means to expose the flaws of America and to make it a better place for, as the preamble says, we the people. Also, to hearken to others' ideas and listen to help America become a more perfect union for all of us to live in. Nowhere in the definition does it say to think your country is the greatest. However, it is similar. Does America have flaws? And if so, what can we do to fix them? Former President Barack Obama once said, "Our responsibility as citizens is to address the inequalities and injustices that linger, and we must secure our birthright freedoms for all people." This quote suggests the idea that America does indeed have flaws that we need to work together as a people on. After all, we have the First Amendment for protesting government for change. We need to work together for that change. We have the chance to state our opinions and concerns to the government without threat of retaliation. Because of the Constitution, the government is limited in their powers, and we still have the opportunity of expressing our concerns. That is what makes me feel safe. You've heard my opinion, but what do others think on this topic? I interviewed government teacher George Colbrook. Here's a summary of what he said. "I enjoy living in America and enjoy the freedoms and protections from the government that the Constitution offers. I believe that the creation of our government is remarkable and the Constitution is incredibly unique. However, I believe that current elected officials are only focused on the individual party, and they have lost sight of who truly works for who. It's we the people, not us, working for you. I think one of the major flaws of America is that we have lost the ability to compromise. I believe that America does not require the belief that one's country is the greatest, because we still have patriotism, and it's still great. I think you can be proud of where you come from, but not believing it's the best, unless it's the Olympics." That's what he said. But I think patriotism is loyalty to your country, to set aside your differences and to find the common good, to secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity. Thank you.
As George Washington Carver once said, the duty of a good citizen is to ensure that future generations inherit a better world. Good morning, everyone. My name is Blakely Slayer, and today I'm going to be talking about the responsibilities we, as young citizens, have to our country and community. We can fulfill these duties in 4 ways. 1, education. 2, respect. 3, taking action. And 4, kindness. First, a good citizen must learn about our country's history. We need to know how our country was created and all of the struggles we overcame. We need to know how our country, and all of the struggles we overcame. Importantly, we must remember our freedom isn't free. Many brave men and women risked their lives to give us the rights we enjoy every day. They made sure we inherited a safer world. Second, we must respect other people's opinions. We shouldn't argue with people who think of things differently. We should learn from them. Remember, different opinions should be discussed, not discouraged. This will make our country a more accepting place. Third, we must take action in our community. Our country is a great place to live in because if we don't like something, we have the power to change it. Raise your hand if you could think of something in this country or community that is unfair or broken. Now, ask yourself, have you done anything to change it? Could you do more? So, donate, volunteer, write a petition. One of our founding fathers, Alexander Hamilton, once said, "Those who stand for nothing fall for anything." So I challenge all of you to stand for something and make positive changes. Last, we have a responsibility to be kind. A recent study at Emory University found that people who witness kind acts are inspired to be kind as well. This means kindness is contagious, so let's spread it. If we each do 3 kind things a day and others follow, kindness will spread across the country. Who's willing to do this with me? In conclusion, patriotism is loving and supporting your country. The best way for kids to show their patriotism is by being good citizens. And wow, our country is already amazing. Let's work to make it better by being more respectful, smarter, active, and kind. Thank you.
Flying the U.S. flag, standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, wearing American colors. These familiar images conjure up patriotic feelings. But what is patriotism, and how can young people foster it in our nation? Good morning, judges, contestants, and parents. My name is Haley Black. In the words of Eleanor Roosevelt, true patriotism springs from a belief in the dignity of the individual, freedom and equality not only for Americans but for all people on earth, universal brotherhood and goodwill, and a constant striving toward the principles and ideals on which this country was founded. These 3 points, honoring and respecting others, freedom and equality for all, and service to society, are values all Americans should follow for true patriotism. Patriotism is loving and supporting one's country by honoring and respecting the people in it. We do this by following golden rule, treating people the way we want to be treated. Young people should have a special respect for our military and veterans. In Student Council, we created gift bags for veterans that would be on our Veterans Day parade. Those veterans were teary-eyed because of the love and appreciation they felt. I was humbled because it was a small service I could do to honor them for such a large sacrifice. Freedom and equality for all makes our country stronger. Martin Luther King Jr. understood this and wanted all Americans to be treated as equals. Equality is essential to patriotism. It is being respected for who you are. We can start now to look for shared interests and common purposes rather than focusing on differences. The Statue of Liberty is a symbol that unites us all with the promise of freedom and equality. Last year, I visited the Statue of Liberty. Seeing her in person overwhelmed me with gratitude. I love this country. As young people, we can appreciate symbols of patriotism. Our country's freedom was a gift given to all Americans, and now we must do our part. There are many ways we can serve in society. Young people can help by volunteering in their local community. Ronald Reagan once said, "How can we love our country and not love our countrymen?" When I volunteer at the food bank, it makes me happy to know that the food goes to those who need it most. Doing these small patriotic acts makes our country greater. Our country will continue to improve when we focus on patriotism. This is what Eleanor Roosevelt meant when she said, "Constantly strive toward the principles and ideals on which this country was founded." Everyone, you and me, has a role. As we honor and respect others, embrace freedom and equality for all, and serve our community, our nation will not only thrive, but excel. Thank you.
Welcome judges, special guests, and fellow contestants. Kamate, mate, kora, kora, komate, mate, kora, kora. My name is Becca Heapy, and at this point, you're probably wondering what on earth just happened. That was part of a haka. In New Zealand, where my dad is from, the haka is one of the biggest emblems of patriotism. People in New Zealand do the haka as a show of national strength, pride, and unity. For me, that's what patriotism is. You'd have to be pretty patriotic to be willing to do something like that in front of everyone. Am I right? The root word of patriotism is the Greek word patriotis, which means fatherland or homeland, which can also mean a person's native country. But what does patriotism itself encompass? Well, it can be the willingness to serve your country and your fellow citizens. It can also be the love and pride you show for your fatherland. But what patriotism is isn't up to me, Google, or a dictionary. What it means to you is up to you. How can we as middle schoolers show and grow our patriotism? Here are some of the things that came into my mind. We could learn about the significance of the symbols of our nation, like the Statue of Liberty, the Great Seal of the United States, the Liberty Bell, and, of course, our flag. During patriotic acts such as reciting the pledge, singing the national anthem, and observing moments of silence, we can be reverent by standing, taking off our hat, putting our hand on our heart, and facing the flag. Another incredible way to show your patriotism as a kid is to be actively contributing to your community. You could clean up litter or volunteer in other service projects. Participating in this competition is a fantastic way to show your patriotism. The fact that a kid is brave enough to write a speech and present it in front of the people you know and those you don't is pretty amazing and a great show of patriotism. One of my favorite ways to feel patriotic is also one of the easiest: listening to patriotic music and songs. Does this lyric sound familiar? "Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave." How does that one make you feel? One of my all-time favorite patriotic songs has to be "God Bless the USA" by Lee Greenwood. My favorite part of that song is the chorus. "I'm proud to be an American, well, at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died and gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA." I think that not only this chorus, but the whole song contains the very essence of patriotism. Thank you for listening to my speech that was, in the words of Toby Keith, brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue. Thank you for your time.